And the raven, never flitting, still is sitting on that pallid bust of Pallas just above my chamber door. And his eyes have all the seeming of a demon's that is dreaming, and the lamplight o'er him streaming throws his shadow on the floor. And my soul from out that shadow that lies floating on the floor shall be lifted nevermore. For generations, people have been fascinated with Edgar Allan Poe's terrifying tale of a bird that just won't shut up. And not until the release of Guardians of the Galaxy was the world ever so obsessed over a character who only had one line. But for over a century and a half, readers have been left wondering, who was that bird? And what was his deal anyway? Now, finally, Smirk and Dagger has boldly decided to answer that question with their terrifying prequel card game, Nevermore. Let's check it out. In Nevermore, you're trying to earn victory points while avoiding being turned into a raven. At the beginning of each round, you're going to be dealt 5 cards, and there are 5 different types of cards. Attack, Healing, Radiance, Victory Points, and the Ravens. Now, once you get your cards, you're going to begin the draft phase of the round. And when the draft begins, you take 3 of the cards you were dealt and pass them on, and get 3 more cards from another player. Once you get these 3, you are going to pass 2 cards, get 2 more, and finally you are going to pass 1 and get 1 more for your final hand of 5. After you finish drafting, you begin the resolution phase. Resolution phase begins by looking for a conspiracy of ravens. Ravens are almost always bad, but if you can get 5 in your hand, that's very good, because 5 of a kind of ravens is a conspiracy. And at that point, if somebody can show they have the 5, then we end the resolution phase. We don't resolve any more cards. And the person who got the conspiracy gets a victory point, does 1 point of damage to all the other players, and gets to take one of these shadow magic cards. These shadow magic cards are powerful magical elements to let you manipulate the game. If nobody has a conspiracy, we go and start resolving the other suits in order. We begin in the first round with attack, and all the suits resolve the same. You take whoever played the most, that person is the winner, and you subtract whatever the second highest number of cards was played. So let's say I played 3 attack cards, somebody else played 2, final result is 1, and I could attack somebody for 1 point of damage. Healing again resolves the same way. Whoever played the most, let's say I played 2, somebody else played 1, leaves me with 1 point of healing. I can heal for 1 point of damage. Radiance cards resolve next, and with these, again, you take the most minus the second most, and whatever the winner's result is, they take that many light magic cards. Light magic cards are kind of like the shadow magic cards. They're a little less powerful, but the trade-off is these are a lot less risky to get. Then you resolve your victory point cards. Your victory cards, again, it's most minus second most, and whatever the result is for the winner, they get that many victory points. With all the suits, if there's ever a tie, say 2 people play 3, and the second highest after that is 2, both the people who play 3 are the winners, and they get the results of the -2. Like I said, ravens are bad because they kill cards in your hand. Let's say after the draft, my hand looked like this. I'm going to have to use this raven to kill one of my cards. So let's say we get to the resolution phase, and you play your cards face down so nobody knows exactly what you have. You all reveal at the same time, and it looked like I had 3, but in actuality I'm going to have to kill one of these with the raven. So I take these, place them face down, they don't count, and I only have 1 radiance card. If after all the other suits have been resolved, and people have used ravens to kill cards, if they have any ravens left in their hand, those are called skulking ravens. Skulking ravens are resolved the same as anything else. You take whoever has the most, subtract the second most, and the winner gets to take that many shadow magic cards. After the first round is over, these tiles are taken and randomized, so every round after the first you'll never know what order these are going to be played in. So for example, you may have an attack to take out maybe whoever's in the lead, but healing comes up first. And in that case they heal, and your attack isn't as powerful as you thought it was going to be, so you have to keep that in mind in preceding rounds. Also, this will flip. In the first round, the draft passes to the left. In the second round, it passes to the right, and that'll alternate round to round. Everybody starts the game with 5 health, and if you ever lose all 5 health points, you are turned into a raven. You are not eliminated from the game, but at this point you can't win, and you're going to try to be turned back into a human. When you're a raven, you cannot win the results of the attack suit, the healing suit, or the victory point suit. You can still play those cards, and you do still play those cards to try to block other players, and if you end up winning, like I said, you don't get the results, but you can peck whoever had the second most cards for 1 point of damage. If nobody else played cards in that suit, you can peck everybody for damage. You'll stay a raven until the end of a round at the Skulking Ravens phase, where you show that you either collected 5 of a kind or 1 each of the 5 different cards. Then you're turned back into a human, and you play the game normally, and you can win again. If somebody collects 6 victory points, they win the game. If somebody is the only human player left, not turned into a raven, they win the game. Those are your 2 victory conditions, and that's how you play Nevermore. The first thing I should probably talk about is the fact that, despite everything I said in the onset of the video, the theme in this game is completely tacked on. At no point during the gameplay do you feel like you've been sucked into the world of the Raven, and the game could have been about almost anything else, and it probably would have played the same way. That's disappointing to me because I really love that story, that poem, and I would have loved to have played a game that was a continuation of that, but this just isn't that game. Despite that, it is a fun game. I've had a chance to play with a couple different groups of people, a variety of people, and everybody seems to enjoy it. It's very simple to break down. You draft cards, and then you resolve them. But within those very simple mechanics, there's a lot of strategy and a lot of decision-making to do. When you're drafting especially, you got to decide what your strategy is. But while you're carrying that out, you can't keep passing good cards, especially the same cards, to another player, because you're going to set them up for a big play and hurt yourself. What are you going to do with your ravens when you get them? Are you going to dump them off, or are you going to try and hold on? Are you going to gamble, try and get that conspiracy, or at least pick up a couple of those shadow magic cards later on? Also, I like the fact that even if you don't win a suit, you can still have an impact on the winner and how it works for them. So that influences you to keep cards that maybe you wouldn't necessarily want to use or think you're going to win, but that you could just stop somebody else from having a huge play. So tons of decisions, especially in the drafting. Then the resolution phase is fun. It's just kind of dramatic to see what everybody has and how it plays out and how they score on each suit. I like how turning into a Raven works. I like the fact that they have player death, so to speak, without player elimination. The fact that you're playing as a Raven, you keep going, you're at a detriment, you can't do what other players do, but you do have that chance to continue to impact the game and eventually come back and you can still win. I think that's a great compromise to that question of player elimination that a lot of games struggle with. The only detriment to this game, I think, are the victory point cards. If I was going to complain about one thing, it would be those. Just because, A, there's such a short path to victory. You only need 6 victory points to win. So if you get those cards in your hand, you can't pass them. You can't risk giving that many points to another player. So if they come in your hand during the drafting phase, you're going to keep them. So that really stifles your drafting strategy. If you have 2 victory cards, no matter what else you have, those are getting passed on. Even if you know it's going to cause a big play for that other player, it's not going to be as big as those victory points, so that gets passed on. And so, like I said, it stifles your strategy in the drafting phase. Secondly, if someone gets lucky and they get dealt an initial hand with a couple of victory cards and no one else does, then they're easing up very close to victory just by, like I said, getting lucky in that initial deal. So I wish either A, the victory point total was higher, or those victory cards were nerfed a little bit and it wasn't as easy to score with them. Just so when you had them, you didn't have to grasp onto them so tightly, and it wasn't just such a a luck factor when you got them in your hand. Other than that, this is a great game. Like I said, very simple to learn, but a ton to do in it. So a lot of replayability. People enjoy it. One I definitely think you should pick up. Quoth the Raven, Nevermore. Okay, everybody, thanks so much for watching this episode of Roll and Move Reviews. Please leave me a comment. Let me know what you thought. Believe it or not, Halloween is already upon us, so this is going to be my last Halloween video. I'm really bummed out about that because I've had such a fun time doing these reviews this month. Thank you so much to everybody who watched, everybody who subscribed in October, all my other subscribers. I hope you guys had as much fun as I did. Stay tuned through the rest of the year because what I'm going to be doing next is my top 10 top 10s of board gaming. Just a lot of fun lists, a lot of cool board gaming fun. So you don't want to miss out on that. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel, like us on Facebook. As far as those lists go, I want your ideas of what top 10 lists you want to see me do. Leave your ideas in the comments or email me at rollandmovereviews@gmail.com. If you want to see some other videos, you can find them on YouTube, Facebook, Board Game Geek, or the Alter Ego game site. Speaking of Alter Ego games, check them out. Great games, great deals for the holidays. That's all I got for now, guys. I'll see you next time. Happy Halloween, and have fun out there. Well, I guess it's time to take these decorations. Oh, no, I knew it!